Hi, this is David Joyner, the librarian for Marysville High School, adjunct librarian at Yuba Community College. And today we're going to have I'm making a brief video talking about networking that I know about in my high school library. Now, as you can see in the background, I have a lot of different computers here, pretty much of an eclectic collection that the students get to use here at the high school. And you can consider every one of those computers a node, a point of communications where someone can send information over networking and into and back and forth to printers and find information on the internet. Now, every computer has what's called an IP address. So let me show you how you can find an IP address on your computer. You go in a Windows 7 machine, you go lower left-hand corner at the start button, type in CMD, then at the cursor, type in IP, CONFIG, and a bunch of numbers come up. And what you'll notice there is IP4 address. That is the IP address for this computer. So it's a series of 4 numbers separated by decimals. In this case, 10, 118, 2, and 43. And so this information is used when it creates its packets using the internet protocols, and we'll come back in just a second. Now over here we've gone to a computer, and I'm showing the back here where there's a port that's called the network interface controller, or it's part of the network interface controller, and it's integrated right into the motherboard of any given computer that we'd buy today. So what that does, it connects with a network cable. Plug that in, and it should start. You see the lights flashing. It's communicating with a switch, which we'll cover in a second. This computer uses internet protocols for data exchange between computers and other places on the network. It uses TCP/IP information, and that means these digital functions are part of a link layer. Okay, there's rules that convert digital information into small packets and then send them down the wire. So talking about the cables that wire all these computers together and connect to switches and routers in the room. There's a chunk of Cat5 cable, and it's what they call twisted pair. There are, 8 wires in here, and they're all twisted around that are then, because folks usually just get these cables and plug them in and don't know how they work. You put these RJ45 clips on them, all right? So you take the twisted pair, you untwist them, and put them in the proper order according to whatever instructions you find on the internet or comes with your crimpers, and then you put them in order, splay them out, gently slide one of these loose clips on it, and then clamp it down. I know this because, if I can draw your attention to the lab here around, I ran 36 wires when they dumped a pallet of computers on me through this, see that molding? Okay, so here, let me get my cameraman to lean in, and you'll see the bundle of wires down there. Each one of those wires connecting to a computer and goes up into that box. And in that box is a switch. So in this cabinet that they don't trust me to get into, contains a network switch. If you notice, all those lights show data moving through ports off of the computers, down the network cabling into the switch. An example so that you can see, this is a heavier duty industrial switch. This is an example of what's in that cabinet, where I have actually what's in the cabinet is like a 96 port switch. From there, there's a wire, just one single wire, and it goes through the wall. So as I said, the wire, this is a good thing about having an old building. If I need to run a wire, I drill a hole, and nobody seems to care. In any case, the wire comes through the wall, and take note down there, I have that orange port then goes to another network cable that travels to our next destination. So the wire goes underneath my library room to this office at the other end, where it comes up through the floor and goes into this cabinet, where it goes into a patch area, and then it comes out and goes to yet another switch, which then feeds back down and goes to our next location. So here we are in the Marysville High School server room, where, as you can see, the computer that are servers that maintain files, maintain applications, and push them out to the different computers on campus. But that would be part of the local area network. But we're part of a school district, so there's a medium area network, which would be where all our communications, all our data is run through this cabinet, and what's inside would be what's called a router. Here's an example of a router. It doesn't have a lot of ports like a switch does. It pretty much takes one line, a few lines, and then send them further down, further out. Over, in this case, if you follow this conduit, it goes outside, and then we'll finish up outside here in just a second where the fiber optic line runs across under the street. But what this router does, it controls the packets. So think of these packets that were sent out of that original computer we were looking at, and think of them as postcards. Think of 3 postcards, and they have a number 1, 2, 3 on them, and they have the sentence, parts of the sentence, "How are you?" And then you mail them. Now they might not travel to your destination, to your friend you're trying to ask that question of. They may not travel in the same truck, on the same plane, with the same postal carrier. They may travel in different routes. One might end up going a route through Arizona, if my friend, here I am in California, my friend's in New York, or in a route might travel up through, I don't know, Boise, and then a third card might go just like Reno and straight through. But then they're all delivered, but at different times, and the friend in New York has to then assemble these postcards to make sense. And that's what the packets and the internet protocols do for data information. Okay, so from here, we'll finish up the video and I'll show you where the fiber optic goes under the road. So here we are outside now, and if I draw your attention up on the wall, that's where that conduit comes through with a fiber optic cable, comes down, goes into this junction box, and then of course it goes underground and under the street over to the red brick building, the district office IT location, and that's where they have their routers and servers for the medium area network, an MAD, and also then they connect to the internet, to the wide area network. So this is the conclusion of the local area network connecting to the wide area network here at Marysville High School. Talk to you later.